Hello, Thursday again from sunny Quebec. How's everyone today? Sharon! Sharon is the first to post. How's everyone? Let me know if you can hear me so we can get the show on the road. Let's see. There's always a lag between when I say something and when it's broadcast live. And there we go. Shandu. Let's see if I'm audible. Oh, it's a bit, maybe there's a bigger delay today. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'm going to make a small announcement here. Hey, Big Beans. Good. Everyone can hear us. Rune, how's everyone? So this show is broadcast at the same time. Watch House Media, hello from Ireland. Likewise, hello from Canada. Talking about the two channels, we are broadcasting live on the Max on Training YouTube channel and the Max on YouTube channel. And in a few weeks, we're going to cease live shows from the Max on YouTube channel because that holds more presentations and more corporate videos. And all the shows, unless there's a specific show about a product, anything that has to do with Cinema 4D will be predominantly broadcast live and also recorded on the Max on Training Team YouTube channel. So anyone out there, let me see. Let me get the link for the Max on Training Team YouTube channel here. And let me just post it. Yeah, I need to navigate one of my million browsers here. Let's go. You go YouTube. And let me pull this on the side. Just quickly go to the Max on Training Team YouTube channel. So I'm going to type Max on Training Team. Max on Training Team. And I'm going to I'm going to paste a link. There we go. Oh, and I'm going to paste this link down here. So this is going to be the source of your live shows, the Max on Training Team YouTube channel. Excellent. And after broadcasting live, they will be hosted with timestamps and comments kindly provided by a very good friend and mentor, Dr. Sassy. Doctor, hope you're well. Haven't spoken to you for a while. And yeah, let's see, what do we have here? And who else is here? Drake. Good morning, and good morning to all creative nerds. Let's put this up so that people know that Drake is saying hi. Fantastic. Andy's here. Who else is here? Malik is here. Of course, Sharon and everyone else. Excellent. So I want to start with a correction. Well, not a correction. So last week, no, 2 weeks ago. Wow, time flies. I did a bit of a mistake. It doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, it's funny. So let me just quickly show you what that mistake was here. And it's funny how I wasn't, for anyone that was here, go watch the show. I was doing an experimental setup in real time where the particles leave the source and go to a certain destination. And they kind of slow down as they approach their destination. And the whole thing is that while you can go to your particle and find out certain parameters. So let me give you an example here. Let's go to the data mapper. Let's go to modifiers. Let's get a data mapper. Now, one of the properties data mapper has is the age percentage. And the age percentage is at what percentage of the lifetime each particle exists. That age percentage does not exist directly inside the particle nodes modifier. And it's a simple division. And basically, what I'm getting with this. So let's type divide here and get a division node. And you can see that by definition, input 1 is at the top and input 2 at the bottom. And if you go to your attributes, you will see that input 1 is at the top and input 2 is at the bottom. Last week, I did a mistake and I switched these around over here. So visually, input 2 was on the top and input 1 was on the bottom, but this doesn't change the order of the operation. So these are called, so multiplication and addition are commutative operations. It doesn't matter the order you do them, but subtraction and division are not. So for some odd reason, I switched it when I wasn't paying real attention. And I couldn't understand why the division input 2 divided by input 1 wasn't working. Yes, because essentially it wasn't doing that. It was doing input 1 divided by input 2. So that was the reason why my setup was not working and nothing else. It wasn't a gremlin, it wasn't a bug, it wasn't anything like that. So just remember that the order of operation um, for division and subtraction is dictated by what you see in the attribute manager and not what is the order over here. So just so that you don't do that mistake. Other than that, you can just copy my setup. Excellent. So that is done. I'm just going to put it here on the left. So one of the things we're going to do today, just for the fun of it, is we're going to very quickly go and recreate a little network setup. I was having a chat with my very good friend, Sharon, and on a certain Discord server. And yeah, I want to show you the thought process behind this because there are about a million ways you can do this. So it will maybe give you some insight as to, yes, we don't have a specific modifier, particle modifier that does this, but it's easy to program. You can save it as an asset and you can program it to do as many things as you wish. So we're going to get to that a bit later. For now, let's see. Let's see here. I'm going to check out the questions later on. So this is a question from a friend of mine, uh, um, Neil Stubbings. He does amazing character stuff. And although I responded to him, I just wanted to take the opportunity to show it just in case someone else wanted some help. So let's see what the task was over here, right? So I'm going to delete all these. And the task was that Neil had a bunch of objects. So let me get rid of my horizons and all that nice stuff here and the world axis. Okay. So he had some objects under a fracture object. Let me remove this as well. Let's remove everything. And what he wants to do is just like you can do with a MoGraph cloner, you can go and you can fix the texture. So you can create various panels where the texture moves with the clone. Okay, if you want to find out what this does, you right click, you go to the show help, and it does show you a nice little example with an ostrich or something. I think it was an ostrich somewhere here. That was the good old days. Where is it? Where is it? Stick texture. Stick texture. Really? It's not here. Coordinates 6 stick texture. But there was. Unless it's further down. There we go. I think. No, no. Yeah, there was a beautiful example. I'm going to find it or I'm going to lose my mind here. Right. I have my obsessions. There you go. Little ostrich here. So go all the way down here. You will see exactly the example. So you can create panels with an image in the front, an image in the back. Anyway, this specific fixed texture is okay, but it doesn't work with a fracture object. So here we have a cube in each position because this can be anything. It can be a bunch of stuffs. I'm going to just make it thinner. And what we want to do here is we want to get this texture. This is something I had for my presentation at NAB. So I want to have this texture, but I want this texture to encompass the whole thing. So I'm going to go and make sure that it's a flat projection. And with the tag selected, I'm going to go and do a fit to object. It's going to ask me, do you want the sub-objects included? And of course I do. And look at this. So it brings it into the frame. Now, what I want to do now is do something with these clones, but I want these clones to retain the portion of the image they have. So if I were to select, I don't know, whatever I was going to select here, let's select this or this. There you go. I don't want the texture to stay put. I want it to move with the object. You can see here it's not. And even better, I want to do that using effectors and stuff. Okay. So first of all, let's make this look a bit better. Um, is it in the, it's in the out, no, it's on the output. I have to select this, go to the viewport and texture preview size. The no scaling doesn't work like Cinema for these classic shaders. So just go find a nice high resolution and it will appear nice. Not necessary for what we're doing, but I always like them, the textures to look sharp. So what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, we're going to select the tag that exists in the parent. And there's a little magical operation. You do a copy tag to children. And now you can see there's no difference here, but not only this has been transferred to each cube, it actually has the proper coordinates so that the portion you can see through is the one that only belongs to this cube. From this point onwards, you don't even need the fracture object. Each one of these is going to move and take the texture with it. Now, if you have the fracture, let's go MoGraph plane effector and let's move scale, whatever. Let's just scale. So let's go in scale. Let's do a uniform scale. Let's do a -1. Bonk. And let's go here and add a field because we can, because we're worth it. That could be a nice campaign for beauty products. So, and there you go. Each texture, you can see the max on here getting smaller. Of course, that was a joke about the beauty products. One of the most famous campaigns. There you go. So that's how you do it. And as simple as that. Just wanted to mention it. Okay. So scale, texture, blah, 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 and all that nice stuff. I think it's time now to put my extremely good looking face here on the side to check out some questions. And let's go to the question. Yeah, I forgot to say that if you may, banners, please preface your questions with capitalized questions so I can distinguish them from general comments and compliments and all that. So let's go and see. Okay. Min Samet, hello, I'm from Cambodia. Wow, greetings to Cambodia. It's on my bucket list to visit, but that's a different story. Can you show procedural beer foam? This is a different one. Yeah. So beer foam, I can't show it right now. I can show you the result. And I'm trying to think, did I show how to make beer foam in a tutorial? So give me a second here to go on my mysterious little folders and see. Let's see if we can get anything. Anyway, there are some setups depending on what you're trying to do. There are a couple of setups, and I just need to put it in the pipeline to do some interesting foam setup. Let's see. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to find the proper dates because I have done foam. Let me see. These are all 2024. Ooh, let's see if this is it. Not that, not that. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Let me see if this is a good example. I'm not sure if it's a good example, but we'll find out pretty soon. So this is fairly procedural. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to write a beautiful word. The word knows. Things are going to happen. And I'm going to start the IPR and see if this is the kind of foam you would like and bubbles and so forth. Yes, so I was working for one of my training sessions with a customer that wanted this kind of thing. So if this is, let's see by votes in the comments. Um, if you want to see a tutorial on how to do this, and as you can see, it's rather procedural. Hi, you click the button here. 1, 2, yeah, takes 2 or 3 seconds to get things to happen. Maybe a bit more if the word is long. I don't even remember how exactly I did this, but I did, and it's a combination of volumes, of MoGraph, of various other things, and of course, Redshift with volumetric shading and so forth. Anyway, if you like this, let me know, and we will see what we will do. Okay. Yes, and foam tutorial. Good, 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 good. So let me turn this off for now. Bum, 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 bum. And let's go and see a few more questions here. Okay, let's see here. Ngalbu. Hi, Noseman. Hi. I applied the bevel deformer to a text object with one material for the body, another for the R1 selection. The bevel deformer doesn't seem to recognize this. Any ideas? Ooh, bevel deformer. Okay, let's try this. It's going to try this. Haven't done this for a while, so let's get some text. Let's let's get an extrude, and let's. Why am I? Yeah, anyway, let's do that, and let's see. Text over with material for the body. Another. Okay. Bevel deformer. Okay. I need to think about this. So let's put one letter here. Let's go close. Let's go and add a bevel deformer. Bonk. Let's go here. And you put it on the, it says there, one on the body, one the R1 selection. Now, if you want to see the various selections, their names, you don't have to expose them because they're always active. Start bevel, end bevel. Okay, so now I'm starting to understand the question. The bevel deformer has absolutely nothing to do with the start and end bevel. These bevels here have to do with the cap bevels, so the rounded ones. There you go. So that here now, this new bevel, is the bevel that is taken into account. Um, the bevel deformer happens after and is totally different from the R1 and R2, which in the good old days it was rounding 1, rounding 2. So if you turn all these on and make this editable, you will see this is the go to basic S, the shell, the C1 cap 1 is over here. You can see there's differentiation between the cap and the cap, and the rounding and the rounding. So the bevel deformer doesn't do that. It's not part of the consolidated extruded object, and that's why it doesn't work. Now, let's assume that you want the rounding. Let's think about this for a second. So you have the shell. Let's take the shell. Okay, just take the shell for now. Let's create a material nice and bright red. So let's go to the basic properties and make this red because it's fun. Let's put it here and drag this in the tag over here. Good. So the shell is red. So I'm going to make sure that there are no caps here. So 0 caps. And I'm going to make a green material. I want to do a green material for the C2. Let's go C2 here. There you go. C1 on here, C2. Now, if I add a bevel deformer to this, let's see what happens. Bevel deformer, and you will see that. Well, let's increase this. Boop, over here. Let's for a moment. Let's forget about all this interesting stuff going on over there. Um, these here are polygons that are not part of the C1 and the S selection. So let me just bring up the S, so just so we can see it. So C1 and C2, I think, is the one I put there. C2, right? So the C2 is this, and the S is this. The new polygons are not part of that. So if you were to choose that, oh, I want only this. So let me try something as well, because why not? Let's take this and put the selection here. No polygons. And put the selection here. There we go. So we are extruding only the polygons from that selection. If you wanted to texturize this, again, forget about all these little things. I think you would, the best course of action was to have, let's say, a third material, blue, and put it before the others. So, oh, come on, get on, go to the back. There you go. So first, the whole object gets colorized. Then one material comes on top. Then the other material comes on top in the selection. So it is a bit of a workaround, but you can still do it depending on what you're doing here. Anyhow, hopefully this allows you to solve your problem here. Okay, let's see. Ba, 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 bum. Andre, using Redshift, when I go in the color chooser window, I always have to click the linear numeric value button in the way. Is there a way to have this click by default standard in standard render? If that is the default, that's a default. There's nothing you can do. But generally, I would start advising. So you can see that. Let's go here in this color here. Boop, 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 boop. So there is no linear button here because, and there's this menu, because I'm using the new Cinema 4D color management. So if you go to your scene settings, color management, you, I think, are using legacy. There you go, where you have this linear, okay? And you got your color management set through Redshift, I assume, or nothing. I think very soon this is going to change and this is going to be the default. But by using the modern color management available in Cinema 4D, oh, and by the way, I forgot to show you something. Let's look at Redshift here, advanced, and let's go to color management and globals. Look at that. So here, color management it's using the project setting. So this is using this. You won't find your options over here. Whereas if you set this to off, so legacy RGB, then you get back your Redshift OCIO settings. But for all intents and purposes, if you switch and go to your, let's say, in quotes, proper way of selecting colors, you don't have that linear switch anymore. So now you can go and select the colors in the color space you want. And this is extremely helpful. sRGB for brand colors that come from Photoshop and ads and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. RAW if you know the actual values. Anyhow, it's a big story, but you don't have that linear anymore. I do not know a way to make that default, unfortunately. Maybe there is something. Okay, let's see what else. Let's well, everyone, a very warm welcome to Felipe Pereira. First time attending these Ask Me Anything sessions. It's only Cinema 4D. It can be ZBrush. So this is only welcome, Felipe. Everyone, be polite. Welcome our new guest, please. So here I'm ZBrush illiterate, and the reason is that some of my very good friends and colleagues are ZBrush masters. So I respond to Cinema 4D stuff and Redshift stuff and all that nice stuff. we do have, and especially with ZBrush, they have a lot of live shows on the ZBrush YouTube channel, and yeah, and it's not an hour or an hour and something like I do. It goes on, and you ask questions, and yeah, and the answers are always there. I cannot guarantee for the legitimacy of my replies, but over there you can guarantee. Anyway, for Cinema 4D, hang out with us. For everything else, just go. I'm going to do some housekeeping at the end of the show, and you'll know where to go and check these things out. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Let's see. Yes, on foam tutorial. Let's see. Yes to beer and foam tutorial. Let's see anything else. Yes to foam. Okay, convinced. I need to put it in the pipeline. I'm going to take my. This is called a pen, and it writes using a liquid called ink, and you write on this thing called paper, right? And you can use, but you can actually eat paper if you're very, very hungry. It doesn't have any nutritional value, but you can't eat a tablet or something like that. I remember years ago, someone approached me at SIGGRAPH. I think it was 2019. I was sitting outside taking some notes with a pencil and paper. Everyone else was on their phones and their tablets. And someone approaches me and says, "What is that mysterious device that doesn't appear to be using electricity? You can actually make markings on it?" He was joking, of course, and because I was using pencil and paper. Anyhow, let me put, I'm going to write beer foam tutorial. There we go. Or maybe a live show, this may be, okay, I need your opinion on this, all right? Let's have a discussion here. We're trying to find ways to make the show a bit more exciting. Now, spectacular failures always make things exciting. So, maybe I start doing these things live instead of responding to these very specific questions. Maybe I can, get a general topic and work on it for an hour, and yeah, hope for a nice spectacular failure or something like that, which will make the show less educational but much more entertaining at my expense, which I have no problem. Anyway, give me a think. Let me know. Most of you know where to find me. Tell the others as well. So where are we? We're done with this, and I took down the note for the tutorial. So let's go down the, yeah. Let's see. Let's see this question by Andre. Any plans to have light render passes named by name of the light automatically in future? I don't know. The one thing, there are a couple of things I cannot do here. Number one, I cannot tell you what the future brings. Number one, because I'm not allowed to. Number two, I don't really know. And number two and a half, I don't really want to know, because that messes with my reality. If I know that something else can be done in a certain way, my brain doesn't comprehend that. That doesn't work with that information very well. I prefer not to know. Okay, let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just put this like this, because I think it's a good time to do a photo booth thing. Ask the trainer. Trey. I can't teach you how to spell. There we go. Ask the trainer. Let's get this. Come on. Yeah, because the volume is growing. There you go. Ask the trainer. And I have my, this is the photo booth that Dr. Sassy is going to use to create a nice little thumbnail. So 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. So I can turn this off now. I can leave it here just so that you can enjoy it anyway. Let's see. Let's see this question. Demis, what's up? How do I manage particles with statics? For example, how do I tell Cinema 4D I want every particle to have a 20% chance of turning 90 degrees right after 3 seconds of 10% particle to be red? Huh. Okay. We're getting into that particle nodes modifier thing. Okay. let's statistics. I read statics. So come on, don't judge me. I can't spell and I can't read. I can do other things, right? I'm fairly useful. And I cook very well, but that's my Greek side. Demis knows what I'm talking about. Um, all right, statistics. Let's start with the first one. Tell somebody I want every particle to have a 20% chance of turning 90 degrees. All right, 20% chance. Okay, let's move on to the particle thing, right? I'm going to pause on other questions for a second so I can get rid of the foam here. And let's focus on this or something else. Let's start from something very simple. Okay, I'm going to create an emitter, and let's shoot 100 particles so we understand what's going on. So um, what is the, I'm going to put my particle layout here. If you go to University and check out the tutorials, I even show how to make a layout like this. So this is going to shoot 100 particles that are going to fly out of the emitter pretty much at the same time. Not exactly. There's a slight little offset because we want to avoid banding. So just so that you know, you can see there's a bit of a delta. Delta refers, it's from the Greek letter delta, the fourth letter of the alphabet, what you call D, and we use it for difference. So there's always a little difference in their time of birth within a subframe, right? All these are within one frame of each other so that we don't get banding. Otherwise, we'll have a straight flat line, just so that you know. Anyway, so at a certain point, I want 25% of these particles to do something else. The easy way is just to put them in another group, and that will allow you to do certain tricks. So I'm going to call this another group. See what I did there? Another group. And we're going to paint this red only for the viewport. Don't forget, this is only for display. So 3 and 3. Now, you will see that they're all green and nothing's going to happen. We need to define a trigger. That trigger can be any kind of condition. Let's say our condition is that when the particles of this group turn approximately 1 second old at 30 frames. So let's go here and make this 120 just so we can see the frames. So it says when the property age, so the condition is when the property age is greater than 30 frames, 25% chance that a particle is going to be switched to the other group. This is how you do the chance. Let's see. Let's play at 30 frames. We should get, yeah, another group. Oh, yeah. Oh my, I did the condition, but I didn't tell it what to do when the condition is met. We have to switch group. Fundamental stuff. And I want to switch to this group. There you go. So now, at 1 second, boop, there you go. You can see 25 of them start switching. And next frame, 25, next frame, 25, next frame, 25, and so forth, right? So let's assume you want only 25. You don't want the others to start fading in as they are, because every frame it's going to evaluate this. Then you can do a split. And so 25%. So this is switch group 25%. What you could do is for the rest of them to switch them to another group. So this is the yet another one. Yet another one. And we'll make this blue. So the condition is saying switch, when the condition is met, switch 25% of them over here. And immediately after, so I'm going to put another condition, the same condition, but this is going to be 100% because it's the remaining particles. I want to switch to yet another one. Now, let's see if that's going to work. There you go. So they both switch at the same time because the condition is the same. Let's just make this, 30 5 or 40 frames. So what you're going to see is a transition from 30 frames to 40 frames. For 10 frames, a few more are going to meet the other group. And then everything else is going to pop. Anything remaining is going to go there. But in any case, this would be the way you would go about doing these kind of statistical, let's say, uh, a statistical, I don't know, instruction and so forth. Now, of course, there are other ways of doing it because maybe you don't want them to switch group, you just want them to turn. But using groups is the easiest way to do it. But again, it's not binding. You can try different methods. Now, let me see if there's any follow up here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if Demis asks a follow up question. No. Okay, so let's continue on this thread. Sip of coffee. So, everyone, please, with me, raise your glasses, your spoons, your straws, your forks if you're eating something, um, or your tip your hats. Cheers to everyone. Bit of coffee. Fantastic. And back to normal programming. So let's use this partial information. There you go. Thompson, you get me. And let's go and see a simple way of doing something like this. Now, let's take a look at this setup first of all, which is going to produce what you perceive as a sort of a network. Now, what I'm doing here, let me very quickly. So that is not going to turn good, right? So let's begin with a because I need to remind myself what exactly I'm doing. I'm going to start with a basic emitter that is a cube, and I'm going to just shoot 100 particles, and they're going to fly, and they're going to fly out. There you go. Just because I want to see where they're aiming, I'm going to change the visibility to handles because now I can distinctively see the direction they are going. So what I want to do with these, all right? So it's this grid network. I'm just going to put it here so I can switch between it. So I'm going to do something similar with the condition, with the age. And then I'm going to switch group, but I'm going to do a little bit of a trick for that. So I'm going to say a condition when the age of the particle is greater than or equal. That's just one frame difference, but greater than will work fine. Then I want this to go and switch group. So I'm going to bring a switch group here, put it here, and I'm going to create a group for the switched group. So this is initial. And this is the turn group because I want them to turn. I want them to turn. So the switch group now, because I created it from in there, is going to give me the turn group. So I put handles here as well, and everything is fine. Now I only want a certain percentage. How much have I put here? 25%. Right. It was just the same thing. There we go. So what's going to happen here is that randomly they're going to switch group. There you go. You can see them just randomly switching group. So what I want to do in this new group is get them to turn 90 degrees in a certain direction. So I'm going to use the turn. And the turn is it's going to turn. It's going to turn, let's say, to the positive X in their alignment. So as they are moving in their, let's go here. So as they're moving in their Z direction, I want them when they meet this condition to go to this group, and then suddenly they're just going to turn. They're going to turn. So let's see what's going to happen here. Going to go in circles. Oh no, they. Oh yeah. Let's turn. So turn angle 90 degrees in a frame on the plus x axis. Good. So they have turned. That's fantastic. Now, what you will notice here is that although the direction has turned, the particles themselves haven't rotated. Their direction has turned. Look, now they're going to go towards the plus x, which is red. See that? But their z-axis is still pointing in the global z. That's because we can, where the particle is facing, the orientation of the particle, and the motion, the velocity of the particle, are two different parameters. So what we need to do here is make it look in the direction of travel. But we're going to have a bit of a problem here because now they're going to spin around themselves after that. And the reason they're going to spin around is that they are turning right at every frame. So right, 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 right. So they're making these little squares where they're moving to the right and the right and the right and the right and so forth. And I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is once I've completed this, I want them to go back to their original and check their age again. Now that's going to be a bit of a problem. If I take a switch group, that's what I wanted. I want a switch group over here. So they've turned 90 degrees. They are facing the direction of travel. So they're facing their plus Z. And then they're going to go back to the original group. And you will see that after this, they're going to turn once, bonk, going around. And the condition here is age greater than 30, of course. And they are still greater than 30. So they're doing this random thing over here. The problem is that I do not want them to just go spiraling around because 25% of them each frame are turning to the right. So by adding one more element to this, by resetting the age of the particles before they come here, I'm going to set their life, their age to 0, which means that this can reevaluate the age. And that's one of the nice little tricks we can do. So go to math and make sure before they switch group here to set their age to 0. And it's not centimeters, it's frames. Good, it changed. So look at that. Boom, boop. So they are now every few frames, and 25% of them, they're turning right, which is fantastic. The problem is that now they're just turning right, and they're turning right, and they're turning right, and they're turning right. We need to find a way, instead of turning them right, so 90 plus on the X, that's all we are doing here. What I want to do is put some sort of randomization in their turn. And that's where you have to add the music, like dun, dun, dun. So let's turn this off, and let's see how we can do it using a particle node modifier. So the great thing about moving stuff in a certain direction and whatnot is the following. Let's assume I have this null here, and it's moving in that direction, right? I do not want this, if it turns, to randomly turn backwards on itself. I only want it to turn one of 4 possible directions. I want it to turn upwards, downwards, rightwards, or leftwards. That's all. Let's assume that my particle is moving in an arbitrary direction like this. Okay, so here's assuming this is my particle. This is a null. If I want it to turn, again, I want it to turn upwards. So it's going to do a 90-degree rotation in the X or minus X, or the Y or minus Y. Those are the 4 possible things. So let's go and set this up over here in a particle nodes modifier. Let's select it. There you go. So what do I want to do? I want to randomize which direction they're going to go. So the moment they enter this group, I want immediately to get a random number. And to do that, you get a hash. And I want a random number between 0 and 3, because each one is going to dictate a different direction using a switch. Switches are fantastic because I'm going to say I want 4 matrices here at add. And this is going to be, let's say, left, right, up and down, up and down. So left is turn 90 degrees on the Y. Right is minus 90, or the opposite. So the minus 90 is, it doesn't matter. 90 minus 90. And here it's the X. So down is 90 and up is minus 90. So I have 4 of these. There we go. So 90 minus 90. Thank you very much. And 90 minus 90. I lost my attributes. There you go. It doesn't matter the order, as long as we have 90 degrees for the Y, 2 options, and 90 degrees on the X, 2 options. There you go. So left, right. Now, the way the switch works, it's similar to the user data we can create here. So now we have these 4 entries. If this index is 0, you can see it here, it's going to go left. If it's 1, right, 2 up, 3 down, or whatever these directions are. So I want an integer. So let me delete everything else just for clarity. You don't need to delete them. And you say from 0 to 4, you have to go 1 extra for this to produce numbers from 0 to 3. For reasons I do not know. So now, depending on the randomization we get here, we are going to get a matrix that is facing up, down, left, or right. But what did I do with this? All right. I want to transform. What is that arrow that indicates where a particle is going? It's a velocity. So I want to transform a vector. And believe me, this is going to be pretty much the only node we're going to use. Transform vector, and you tell whatever the vector is, which is the velocity, to be transformed by this matrix, which is it has its rotations, and just feed it in the velocity. That's it. It's going to retain the speed and all that. It's just going to change where that little movement arrow is going. Now, the problem is, how do we define for each particle a different randomness? Because we don't want them to move the same time. So if I do this, nothing much is happening. They're all kind of turning at the same time. And that's because our hash is not randomized for each particle. So we can do a couple of things. We can take the unique ID of the particle and use it as a seed. But that means that each particle is going to have the same turn in every time this is triggered. So I'm going to take another value and put it in the salt. So seed and salt are 2 numbers that if you change to arbitrary numbers, the randomization changes. And I'm going to use the distance traveled as salt, because the distance traveled the particles are moving, it always changes. You can use all sorts of things here. You can use the age, you can use all sorts of things. But that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do. And now you will see that they're going to randomly turn in all sorts of different directions at different times. You can set this 100%, which means that they're all going to turn at the same time, bonk, bonk, bonk. Or you can change this number 5 here, or do whatever you want. Everything else stays the same. You don't need the turn 90 degrees. And you can take now the initial, which is the one you want, and you can trace it. Now, the great thing about a setup like this is you can put Sharon asked me an interesting questions earlier on a certain forum. She said, how do I confine this into a cube or something like that? Well, although I didn't apply this, what you could do is you can check the position of each particle. And depending on the position, you can force a turn that doesn't make it go in a certain direction. So if, let's say, if X, so let's assume that you want it to be confined in a cube that is, let's say, 1,000 on the X. You want each particle, when it hits X equals 1,000, you want it to turn again. So that is something you could program in your code. All right, let's, you know something, let's try this. Let's try. I'm not sure this is going to work because usually when I do these things, it doesn't work. So I'm going to get another condition. Let's go to particles. I love to fail, don't I? So let's get another condition. And let's not put it with age and say position X greater than 500. I want it to do the same thing. I want to do this and I want it to do this. Whoops, not both. Okay, so this is X 500. I can program this in a single particle nodes modifier, but I don't want to do it. Just to keep things. So I'm asking here, when it's not the age, right? The age 0. Yeah, I need to. So the condition says when the position X, or when the particle is moving here, we are checking its global position. And if it surpasses 500, the edges of our cube, then we just want it to turn. And remember, it will turn up, down, left, or right. So it will stop moving in to exceed that direction. So this is X plus 100. If it's less than minus, I said 100, 500, less than 500. And then I can go and do the same for the y's. So when y is less than 500, and get the last one when y is greater than 500. Let's see if that's going to work. So for each one of the conditions, whether it's time-based or whether it's position-based, let's see if this is going to work. Is this going to keep them? So I think we need to put some sort of betting mechanism where people can bet if this is going to work or not. And, you know, with we are getting an issue here because it's trying to turn, but having said that, it has confined it into a cube. So I would call this it quasi works. So it doesn't really work, but it kind of works. Anyway, so yeah, when it reaches the actual edge of the cube, it tries to turn, and because it randomly may try and go that way again, it forces it back. I mean, this is interesting. Come on, you have to admit. From end, let's put like 130. Look how cool this is. Anyway, just a handful of keyframes. Let me just save this in today's lesson, and this would be grid network. No, grid network O2 cube. There you go. So this will be the thought process to construct something in that in that respect. So let's check some comments here. Let's see. Did I answer all the questions? I forgot. Yeah. Sorry, Demis. I get carried away. So let's see. Yeah, I think I read this one in the Master Trainer forum. Info comments on parameters directly in the UI for nodes capsules. So if you have a nodes capsule, so let's go to startup layout, create a new thing. Let's say, I think there is some sort of way. All right, let me test something out. Let me test something out here. Let's take the cube and add it here. Cube. All right. Okay. Here's the cube. And let's open that little thing up there. So it says nothing when you hover over here. Annotations. This is, oops, annotations. This is a cube. Let's see. Where are those annotations? Where do those, well, information. I'm not absolutely sure where you would or you wouldn't put that, or if even if it's possible or not. See, I do not know that. Yeah, I do not know that. But I assume what you want is to be able here to hover, get some information, and all that nice stuff. I do not know. I need to find out and see. Yeah, I need to find out. So I apologize. I do not know what the answer to that is. Okay. Let's see. Um, how do I render an object with floor shadow plus alpha channel but no background as MOV? I don't know specifically about the MOV. Um, I don't know about the MOV. Maybe you should contact me directly if you're on the on the there you go. I'm on X or Twitter. DM me so at Noseman GR so I can take a look at that. And the best thing with these things is to create a um, very simplified scene, extremely simplified scene. Um, let's see where we are. This is taking the shadow from backdrop, but not rendering the backdrop. I yeah, I'm not absolutely sure what you mean by this. Sorry. Um, I'd like to see an example. Okay. Yeah. I haven't. You know, the funny thing, I haven't tried the clouds yet. So yeah, I do not know. Let's see. I had questions the other day and I forgot them all. But it's good to forget. So forgetting is good because if you don't remember something, it's as if it never happened, and it helps to reduce stress quite a bit. Um, how to render transparent objects with reflections? Well, the reflections are um, in post with reflections. They should be there. I mean, as far as I know, right? let's my my brain. Okay, let's try this. Let's get a cube. Let's all humor me for a second. Let's go here, press this button and type glass. Yay! And let's get window, just window. Let's drag the window here. Good. Not drag it there. So window, glass. La, ba, ba, ba. Yeah, I dragged it to the wrong place. So window, let's just get this. Oh, I'm pressing on the wrong buttons. Window. Forgive my butterfingers. So download. Why is that opening? I'm clicking on the wrong. I do not know what's happening to my finger. I want to click here. That's what I wanted to do. I was trying to do that. I promise you all. I was just trying to do that. So let's put this here and let's go and get an HDR. So or type HDR and let's get something that is visible here. And we're going to check the reflections and make sure that it's not visible in camera. So what I should get here is a certain reflection. I should get a reflection. There we go. We're getting a reflection and a refraction. So I want to make sure that this is not visible in transmission, right? So only the reflections. You can kind of see the reflections there. And let me create a simpler material so we can see exactly what's going on. Glass is beautiful, but um, zero and bum, 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 and no transmission and all that. So if you increase this, you're going to get a bit more of the reflection. So there we go. So this is it. Let's go and render it. So I'm going to go here, render settings, and let's render a, I don't know what I'm going to, but we need an alpha channel, right? Is that the reference? Let's see where the reference is. With render transparent objects with reflections. So we need some sort of alpha channel down there. So let's turn on the alpha channel. Let's make a TIFF that has the alpha channel. And we don't need to do anything else. I can just render this frame. And if you want to see what's going on here, there's the alpha, so single pass. So the alpha, and it appears to be, it is 100%. And I mean, it's additive. It's 100%. So let's go and make the glass here, not 100%, but let's say it's 0.85. That is some sort of more dull glass. There you go. We should have alpha channel, which is less. There you go. So this is alpha. And let's go here. Raw. It's 100%. Why is it 100%? This shouldn't be 100%. The reflection. I apologize. I'm being silly now. I think it's that time. I have no transmission, so it's not going to be transparent. 0.95 would be glass. Yeah. Next time, Noseman, why don't you put an object behind it and see if you can actually see it? Ooh, what nice shapes these are. I don't know what's going on here, but anyway. So let's now, let's go and see how this is going to look. So it was, forget about everything I said earlier about this. Okay, so this is the background, an alpha channel. Oh my Lord, I have transparency here. I have 0.95. Let's say transmission 0.8. Good. It's just one of those days, I guess. So I can kind of see behind it. Good. Let's go and render this. So it's rendering the image, single pass, should be rendering the alpha channel as well. Okay. At this point, I'm stuck. Or is it because I turned off? No, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, for some reason I'm stuck now. My brain cannot function. I have 0.8, the transparency of the glass. I should have 0.8 alpha channel here. That's what I would expect. I do not know. I need to check and see why this is not doing what I would expect it to do. And either there's something about I'm doing a mistake. No, I would expect this to not be fully opaque. Let me see if there's any comment, or is there something about oh, wait a minute. No, it should be alpha channeled. I don't know. So it's probably, let's see. I'm probably missing something here. And it's just that time, and that I feel that I'm doing something very, very wrong here about the alpha. Anyway, I need to think about this. So forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness. Let's see, quickly go to a couple more questions because it's past the hour. Let's see. What I would say in this particular case, refraction affects alpha, the reflections disappear. Yeah, I would do something like that in post. I would create AOVs because there are certain considerations about the way nature works as well, how light is added and so forth. So it all depends on your actual the colors, the setup, and all that. But for this particular moment, my brain has totally frozen. So I cannot, I don't think I could provide you with any good information other than use AOVs. Okay, let's see. Screensavers. Okay, let's see. Oh, from Egypt, Amr, how are you? So it's I want to ask if you make a motion to close the bag. No. Yeah, no. Which, unless it's a video you're talking about, I thought this was a joke. Bag in seven, close the bag in 7 seconds. I don't get exactly what's going on. Okay, you could enable refraction effect in the render settings legacy. Yeah, but it's legacy, so there must be something else going on, which it shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't have to turn on legacy things. Okay, I need to look into that, or someone needs to remind me to do that. Okay. Look, I mean, we can try it since we're here. And let's go Redshift Advanced. And let's go to System. I would assume a legacy. And let's see. Refractions affect alpha. You know something? Let's go to help and see if they're. But please keep in mind that compositing runs on top of other elements are not technically correct, since material refraction should bend the rays. Correct. So that's why. It can be written per material. Okay. Advanced section of Redshift material. Okay. So you could enable it per material in the advanced settings. So let's go to the advanced settings. Go here, advanced. And it says here, where is it? Effects. Fresnel, no. Transmission, glossiness, nope. Opacity effects, alpha channel, opacity. Interesting. Okay, so let's do this. And where are we? Refraction effects, alpha channel. Let's see what this does. Yep, there it is. Different value. It's that. The different value we have now. There you go. So the fully opaque is the cube and the partially opaque. So this will give you the backgrounds you want. But when it comes to reflections and all that, I still insist AOVs is the best way to go. Okay. What is this? Vitali, how do you make Ripple's animation appear synced to audio? Height should be different as well. Diagonal stripes. Yeah, I mean, this has many applications, but generally for syncing things to audio, the best way would be using some sort of sound effector or something, and you can control, I don't know, a deformer or a I don't know, maybe a postmorph and all that. So let's quickly do it with a deformer, see if we can do something meaningful. And 20, 20, 20. Let's put a bend deformer here and make it comply to parent and make it shorter and bend it, have this. And because we can affect the parameters using, let's say, fields or the strength, we can right click and say field driver add. And over here, I can say parameter from minus 60 to 60, depending on the field strength. So depending on what the strength is, it's going to go from one side to the other. But instead of a solid, I can use a sound effector. And in the sound effector, I can load a sound, which I have no idea where I'm going to find a sound here. Let me try the Maxon Techno Loop. Techno Loop. Give me a second. It's just searching. There's a... Did I write Techno Loop properly? There is a sound. There we go. Maxon Techno Loop. There you go. So you can use this this method, not with a bend deformer, but anything else you may need, just by triggering and using the actual probe to select which part of the sound. So you can create many of these depending on the different type of sound. So maybe I want to go to the high notes over here. I can turn off logarithmic, and you will see that only when data appears in there, it will... Maybe I want to go very narrow range, and so forth. So you can assign different values to different sounds or different portions of a sound and whatnot. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Difference between render engine production and RT. RT is the real time. Don't use it. That's it. I think that was an easy answer. Yep. Hello. Hello, everyone. Morphing bag lock. Are we talking about a Ziploc bag thing? There are some tutorials on zippers. You would use I would assume a similar technique. I don't see any video. That's why there was no video link or something like that. Here, Maxon Technoloop. That's an old one. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a video, Amor. There was no video posted. That's why. Unless it's posted somewhere, but I don't think you can post links in the YouTube, comments. Sorry, my brain is starting to go down. Okay, I think we're going to wrap this up now. 15 minutes after the hour. Let me very quickly do a little housekeeping thing. Here we go. Let me bring. There we go. This is it. So first of all, I'm going to paste a link. Please go to this page and check out all the information, and it will be in the comments. You can check out the Maxon events, visit University, the Training Team YouTube channel, and you can sign up for a newsletter or ask your question. I'm looking for ways to make this a bit more interactive, a bit more fun for everyone. In any case, go to the Maxon events page through the previous link, and you'll see what's going on, what shows are being planned, and about all these very handsome people doing presentations. Oh, look, that's me. Of course, go to the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel, where all these videos are hosted after the fact, with the comments and the timestamps provided by a very good friend and mentor, Dr. Sassy. Hello, Doctor, once again. Maxon YouTube for all sorts of amazing videos of our products. And of course, go learn ZBrush and check out some amazing artists, what they're doing. So anyone that wants to learn ZBrush or be impressed or feel depressed about their non-artistic ability, like me, for example, just go watch any video here. You'll see what great artists do with our products. And finally, go to University and check out thousands of high-quality tutorials about all sorts of subjects. And in any case, stay in touch. I need to bring out the various banners here. No, the banners. This, I need to bring up this. So at the end, there is even a QR code, which I think is this link here. I'm not even sure. I haven't clicked on it. But in any case, I would like to thank everyone for joining me on this beautiful Thursday. And the date is September the 18th, 2025. Maybe we'll look back to this day one day. You never know. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming. Keep the questions coming, and I'll see you on the forums, on the Twitters, Twixers, and all that cool stuff. Take care, everyone. Pressing the button. Which one is it? I'm not supposed to be here. There you go. Bye bye.